Good morning, friends. This is third lecture on lecture series Indirect Taxation GST. So far, we have studied what the term supply means, what are the different parameters when GST would be leviable. There were mainly three parameters. First, it has to be supply. Second, it has to be consideration. There has to be some consideration. And third, it should be in the course or furtherance of business. We had also seen there are certain exceptions to this where some sub where some in some cases where there is no consideration yet the other two parameters are satisfied, then it is treated as a supply and then it is treated as supply under GST and GST is leviable on that. That is even without consideration. For example, when we import any service in the course of furtherance of business or goods, which even without consideration, it is treated as GST is leviable on that. Similarly, there are cases when it is not in course of furtherance of business yet it is a supply and there is a consideration involved, then also GST is leviable. Now, we today will study what the term consideration means. See, the dictionary meaning of word consideration is payment. Consideration mainly talks about money. What is the actual monetary value that is involved in a transaction? However, it not always be in form of money. It can be in money or in kind. So it's not always money. So if a transaction is there where the supplier is selling a given product or a service in terms of partially in money and partially something else, or in other cases where there is an act of forbearance, then also there is not a monetary term involved yet there is a consideration involved. It covers anything which might be possibly done, given or met in exchange for something else. So some sort of agreement or some sort of quid pro quo is there. It may not necessarily be in terms of money. A consideration need not always flow from the recipient of supply. The second point is that it need not always be done by the recipient. So someone else can also do uh, payment, or someone else can also uh, uh, someone else can also be involved in doing payment. It need not always be recipient. It can also be made by the third person, so on behalf of recipient the person is doing. However, any subsidy given by central government or state government is not considered as consideration. Now, important point of caution over here is that it talks about central and state government. So if any subsidy is given by a local authority, or any subsidy given by foreign government, then that is not part, then that will be included in the part of consideration. It's only for a central or state government, which does not fall under the definition of consideration. A deposit given in respect of a supply of goods or services, or both, shall not be considered as payment made for such supply unless the supplier applies such deposit as consideration of the said supply. Now, it's the term consideration is defined under section 2.2 subsection 2 subsection 31. Now, what does this paragraph says? Let me explain it to you. See, it talks about deposits. What are deposits? Sorry. For example, it's not advance. First, when we buy something, there could be some deposit that we give to supplier. It's not advance. This deposit money is actually it's actually money which is given back, which is refunded back to the recipient after the given transaction is over, or the agreement, whatever agreement says, the deposit is refunded back. So it is purely money. How so? till till it's deposited to the supplier, and when it will be paid back to the recipient, till then no GST is leviable. But when supplier applies such deposit as consideration, for example 1000 was paid and the final bill comes out to be 5000. Okay, so at that point of time the recipient pays only 4000. The 1000 which was paid as deposit at the earlier point of time, that is applied as consideration, then that deposit amount is comes under the ambit or the definition of consideration. So deposit is not part of consideration or payment until and unless supplier makes it or applies it a part of consideration. Okay, now let's see the diagram of consideration over here. Consideration, there are two parts of it: payment in money or otherwise, and monetary value of any act of forbearance of the supply. So if you are doing something, then it also has some monetary value. It is not directly in terms of money, but it has some monetary value. So both when done by recipient or any other person, payment in money or otherwise for a supply, deposit to be considered as payment only when supplier applies such deposit as consideration for said supply, and in this case exclude subsidy and by central and state government. Now before going to different examples as given in circulars and explained here, let me tell you important thing, that is what are we getting with payment. See, consideration why are we doing consideration? Money or non-money. Okay, for doing or not doing. See, both are part of consideration. Okay, now okay, now let us examine the existence of consideration in following three scenarios. The three different scenarios: one, donation received by charitable institution from individual donors without quid pro quo; artwork sent by artists to galleries for exhibition; no claim bonus offered by an insurance company to the insured. So the three scenarios given over here, we have to determine what consideration is. Okay, so before going into what the PDF says, think: a charitable institution, when it receives donation without any quid pro quo, so the charitable institution has no obligation whatsoever to advertise or to help the person who is doing donation in his or her business. So without quid pro quo, no consideration. It's a completely humanitarian gesture. Artwork sent by artists to galleries for exhibition. Now for exhibition, when the artwork is sent, it is mainly for its uh, see, consideration is quid pro quo. It's a very important feature of consideration. Donation received by charitable organization are treated as consideration only if there exists quid pro quo. There is an obligation on part of recipient of the donation or gift to do anything. That is a supply a service. What kind of service the uh, organizer can do? Give such religious institution and organizations, school, hospital, orphanages, old age homes, etc., when it receives financial help, what it do is support in form of supported by donation. Then to express gratitude towards such help, places a name plate on similar such acknowledgement, okay, in their premise. Now when the name of the donor is displayed in recipient institution's premises in such a manner, it can be said to be an expression of gratitude and public recognition, an act of philanthropy not aimed at giving publicity in such a manner that it would be an advertising. Okay, see, advertisement service is not, if given a promotion of his business is given, then if not done in such a way, then no supplier service, else it would be treated as supply. So some examples of cases where there would be no taxable supply are as follows. So Bhushan donated a blackboard. Now their blackboard so donated, what is written is good wishes for Mr. Bhushan. It's no GST leviable. Why? Because Bhushan, there could be many Bhushans. It does not help in its promotion, it does not promote his business. But Srimati Durga Devi donated some money to a temple in the memory of her late father. The temple trust considered a room in the temple complex for such donation donated by and wrote donated by Srimati Durga Devi in memory of her father, not floor of the room. Similarly, no reference or mention to of any business activity of the donor. Therefore, no advertisement. Therefore, not leviable. Gift or donation made to a charitable organization. See over here. It has to be a charitable organization. Payment in the character of gift and is no commercial gain. This is important. Okay? And no advertisement. So it is a given circular 2019 circular. Sorry, 35. Okay. No, when artwork is sent to galleries by artists for exhibition, it's not a supply as no consideration flows. Then what is it? See, artists give their work of art to galleries where it is exhibited for supply. However, no consideration flows from the gallery to the artist when the artworks are sent to the gallery for exhibition, and therefore same is not a supply. It is only when a buyer selects a particular artwork displayed at the gallery that the actual supply takes place and applicable GST would be paid. So, so the CBIC in circular number 22 2017, it clarified that when an artist is sending his or her artwork to galleries, then it is not a supply. Then it is just a, you know, sending the work. But when the buyer selects the given or any particular or a chosen artwork, then it will be mean it will be a supply. Otherwise, what would happen? Even if I will send my artwork to gallery, even though none of them was sold, yet I'll have to pay GST of all of them, right? However, the gallery is actually providing a service, right? Yeah. But CBIC have clarified artwork sending to galleries for exhibition is not a part of supply. Third one is We will discuss this again. Okay. No claim bonus. The issue which arose for consideration was whether the reduction on account of no claim bonus allowed by insurance company from consideration for the supply provided by the insured payable by the insured can be considered as consideration of supply provided by the insured to the insurance company for agreeing to the obligations to refrain from act of lodging insurance claim during previous year. So it's an important thing. See, as we have studied before also, that something which is not in an agreement, right? A breach of agreement, a breach of contract is not a supply. So GST will not be leviable on a breach of contract. Act or forbearance is as defined in GST is not does not means breach of contract. I am not doing something in a so that I can it's a part of my business, but I have agreed to do something and yet now I am not doing it, then also GST would be liable. That is not the case. So no claim bonus is given as a incentive. It's not a business, it's not an insurance company. The industry does not insurance industry does not do not say that you should not claim bonus, right? Because I have not claimed bonus, so it's giving some sort of discount in the premium. That is it. It does not mean that it is a act of forbearance, right? So no claim bonus is not a consideration given by a person who got insured from an insurance company. So what the people were asking, the industry was asking was that if someone got, see, I'll draw it for you. See, what they were asking is, see, this is a person, okay, and this is an insurance company, okay. So take an insurance from this company, right? Now 1 year, first year, okay. Now renewing it from second year. Now no benefit, matlab no insurance claim was met. So if it was at for 100 rupees, then for second year it was of 90 rupees. Why? 100 minus 10 NCB. Okay. So this NCB, this one, yeah. The industry was asking that this NCB is a service, is a consideration for not doing, has it's a forbearance, okay, and therefore 10 rupees is a consideration. So instead of 90 at GST, there has to be 10 at GST also. So what the department said, that as per practice prevailing in insurance sector, so we always have to think about the industry, about that sector, then only we can actually put some logical or practical sense to what the circulars are meaning or what the provisions are in the act. The insurance companies deduct no claim bonus from the gross insurance premium amount when no claim has been made by the insured person during the previous insurance period. Now, customer procures policy to indemnify himself from any loss, injury as per the terms of policy and is not under any contractual obligation not to claim insurance claim. Yeah, in lieu during any period covered under the policy in lieu of NCB. It is therefore clarified that there is no supply provided by the insured to the insurance company in form of agreeing to the obligation to refrain from the act of lodging insurance claim. Okay, so therefore NCB cannot be considered as a consideration for a supply. Supply तब 18/20/22 सप्लाई कब, जब कोई अग्रीमेंट होना चाहिए. अग्रीमेंट अगर नहीं है तो पहली बात है हुआ नहीं, तो कोई सप्लाई जैसा कुछ हुआ नहीं. सेकेंडली, अग्रीमेंट, ब्रीच ऑफ अग्रीमेंट और forbearance, I'm not doing something so it's a supply. It has to be very clearly said कि इंश्योरेंस सेक्टर में नो क्लेम बोनस करना बिजनेस नहीं है, राइट. वो एक तरीके से प्रीमियम अमाउंट पे डिडक्शन मिलता है. सो इट्स नॉट अ, CBIC हैज़ क्लैरिफाइड इट. Now the fourth example, salvage rec value earmarked in claim assessment of damage caused to a motor vehicle. Now see, a damage was caused to a motor vehicle. Now general insurance company, when it finally assess the salvage value, ठीक है, then whether it would GST would be leviable or not. See, in case of motor vehicle insurance provided by insurance companies engaged in providing general insurance services, such companies insure the cost of repairs. Companies insure the cost of repairs and damages of motor vehicles insured by policyholder. In case of claim is made by an insurer, अगर कोई claim insurer ने लिया for damaged vehicle, while settling said insurance claim, general insurance companies, as per the pre-decided terms of insurance contract, deduct the value of salvage of the motor vehicle from the claim amount paid to the insurer. The salvage remains the property of insured, and insurance companies are not liable to discharge GST on that amount. So, and secondly, do not deduct the value of salvage and pay the full amount, and salvage becomes the property of insurance company. Okay, now, and the insurance company will be obligated to discharge GST on supply of salvage to the salvage buyers. See, consideration should be must. I'll explain it afterwards. अगर कोई भी transaction है which involves supply of goods or service without consideration will not be treated as supply until and unless it is a deemed supply under Schedule 1. If it is a deemed supply under Schedule 1, what are deemed supplies in Schedule 1? Employer-employee, up to 50,000 gifts between related persons, right? Permanent transfer of business assets, right? Import of goods or service, import of goods and service between related person, permanent transfer of business assets, yeah. Then few more between the employer employee gift amount more than 50,000. So they are Schedule 1. If it is not part of Schedule 1 and no consideration is involved, then it's not a supply. What in this circular the CBIC has clarified that in case of motor vehicle insurance, the insurance company actually pays you something. If find a lot of damage has happened to your vehicle, then there are two possibilities. One, I'll give you full amount and I'll take the vehicle from you and I will sell it as a scrap. Okay. And the second case is I will not take the vehicle from you. It will be with you only, with the insured person only, but I will deduct some amount of insurance claim because the salvage amount, because if I would have got that damaged vehicle, I could have sold it in a scrap, I could have got some money at least, right? So that money would be deducted and your final settlement amount would be a little less than what it had been in the first case. So if the consideration is full amount and the vehicle is with me, then GST would be levied on full amount. In case of in second case, when the vehicle is with the insured person and the amount has been deducted by that salvage value, then the deducted amount, on that deducted amount, GST is leviable, even though I'm giving you the vehicle also. So it's not monetary plus that damaged vehicle. No. Why? Because damaged vehicle I'm not giving it for, it was not part of insurance. No, matlab, it's in how do you want, how the insured person or how the industry works, right? So this is what CBIC has clarified. Now, codes or furtherance of business. So we have understood what the word consideration means. It is a payment. It could be money or in kind. It has to be exchanged for something else, and it need not always be from recipient. Now, a word of caution that it does not include government and state and central government subsidy. Now, section 2 subsection 31 under the head relevant definition defines deposit will be treated as consideration only when supplied applies such deposit as consideration. So it's for, as I have summarized, doing or not doing for something, consideration is there. It could be monetary or non-monetary. We have also seen different examples where different scenarios where we have to understand whether it's a supply or not. For example, donation received by institution, it is a supply of service only when it helps in the furtherance of business. If it is advertisement or promotion of business, otherwise it does not bear any relation with it, then it is not a supply, a taxable supply. Then we have also seen when uh, artwork are sent to galleries for exhibition, then it's not a supply. GST is not leviable. GST is leviable only when an actual buyer selects an artwork and buys. Then we have seen the third point, no claim bonus. There is, in the industry sector, there is no any contractual obligation to not to claim insurance claim. Yeah, actually it works the other way around. So no contractual agreement, so it's not a, GST is not leviable on that. Circular number 18 2022. And the final example which we have seen, that salvage value, if it is the salvage value, if the vehicle is with insurance company, then GST is leviable on the full amount which includes salvage value. And if the vehicle is not with the insurance company, then the final settlement claim would be deducted, right? And that amount would be only leviable under GST. Think about the customer. The customer will say, I don't want this vehicle, it's completely damaged, so keep it with you. I want my, I as much I want money, as much money that can be I can receive, then I want that money. So general practice is, what will a person do, what will an insured person will do if he or she gets that damaged vehicle? No use of it. Plus, by selling it to the scrap dealer is also difficult for a person. It's easy for the insurance company, right? So, for customers' benefit, you can say, or uh, for ease of business or the practice in the industry, CBI has clarified it. So, in the next lecture, we will study about what the word codes or furtherance of business means. Thank you.